Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of my new YouTube channel, which will feature several different commentaries and analysis of the horror genre mainly. I've always wanted to do something like this, share my thoughts, share my views on the current state of horror, on nostalgic horror, and just really get deep into the analysis of all the things that I love. So what we're going to see in this series is going to be just different takes and different interpretations of the horror films that we all know and love. But it's also going to look at TV shows, looking at video games, looking at current events, things that interest me. Not everything will be about horror, but a lot of it will be. And I just really love this topic. And I have, always wanted to have a platform in which to share my thoughts and views of this, world that I'm so engrossed in. So earlier today, I went with a friend to go see Alien Romulus, the newest Alien film. And I must say, the Alien franchise has a special place in my heart. I was a teenager when I first saw the original quadrilogy. It was a box set that I got. Never seen an Alien movie, but I was so into horror, I was like, I want to try this one. And I grabbed it. My mom bought it for me, and I was obsessed. I've always loved a very strong female lead, and Sigourney Weaver gave us that with Ellen Ripley. So in the first film, we know it, right? The crew of the Nostromo is, they find a beacon of some kind, they get woken up early, they go investigate, the face hugger shows up, and history is made. Cinematic history was made there. But of course, it works so well because Sigourney Weaver's performance as Ellen Ripley, great female protagonist. She, and it wasn't forced upon us that Ellen Ripley was a woman in the 70s, an action hero here. It was just this organic part of the story that happened there. She saved the cat though. Josie had to be saved. We couldn't leave the cat alone. But the rest of them, the crew, they died. Of course, they didn't know what they were facing. So that's the beauty of it. So then, of course, we get Aliens, which is probably the best film in the series. It's full action pack. It's got elements of horror in there. And of course, Ellen gets her surrogate daughter, Newt, in this one. And I've always loved the interaction between Ellen Ripley and the Queen Alien. Because, we're hunting for Newt. And when we finally find her, we find this, gigantic Queen Alien that's laying these eggs. And she's very docile at first. And Ellen kind of tilts her head a bit, and she blasts those baby eggs, those face huggers, right? And of course, the queen at that point is upset, and she goes on the chase. And we have the epic battle, very iconic, the get away from her, And it's just such a wonderful film. Alien 3, a little weird. The ideology of the characters on that prison, it's fascinating. It really is. But it's an acquired taste. Having gone bald, I gotta shave my head a little bit, but having gone bald, I always say this is my Ellen Ripley Alien 3 haircut. That's why I accepted the baldness. Sigourney Weaver can do it in Alien 3, I can do it for the rest of my life. But in that one, Ellen Ripley does die. The Queen Alien that's birthed inside of her busts out, and she, sacrifices her life very heroically. And we think that's it. Sigourney Weaver's done. That's, we didn't expect anything else. Then there was Alien Resurrection, written by Joss Whedon of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the creator of that and the Buffyverse, and, fantastic writer. So you see elements of his writing in Alien Resurrection. But of course, it's horrific. When that humanoid half-breed alien thing at the end of Alien Resurrection, when it dies, that's like the most pity I've ever felt for a monster before in my life. Like, you want it to live. It's like, oh, pobrecito, like, let him live. But because he's so much in pain and agony, and he's reaching out for Ripley, that's his mother, or she's a clone at this point. It's also got some alien DNA in her, and she's like her face, like she's reacting to it too. She's horrified by this, but of course this thing has to die, and it does die, and it, then they're getting to Earth, and we're setting up for this big battle on Earth with the aliens. It never came to pass. Never again did we get Sigourney Weaver in an alien film. We got Alien vs. Predator and its sequel, and then we've got Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I'll never watch again. Not bad films, but I don't think I want to spend my time watching them again. But then we came to this movie, which I'll admit, I had no idea they were making it. It wasn't until I went to go see Deadpool versus Wolverine, or whatever it's called, that I saw the preview for this. And I was like, oh, they're making an alien movie. And it really looked like a horror film again. So what I will say about Alien Romulus is, yes, it is going back to the roots of the franchise. There are so many homages to the original Alien quadrilogy in this one. They set it up really nicely. I've always loved the aesthetics of the Alien films. The computers, the sound effects, the buttons, just the way the spaceship looks, the tunnels of it. It's very industrial, very, very old school technology here, but it fits the series so well. And I'm so happy that Alien Romulus was able to replicate that setting. And again, we kind of get the, similar setup to the original Alien film. And this one, it's like the haunted house in space. So you got these characters, that they set up they're trying to, steal a ship to go to a planet that's going to take them 9 years to get to, so we get some background, we get some exposition here. But the callbacks to the original are what I really love. The fact that the original alien creature's body is hung up, it's hung up there, kind of like almost Christ-like, hanging there. And you see the spear that Ripley shot into it, and you and you understand what happened to this shuttle that must have encountered the alien, and it just started wreaking havoc. So it's been many years, right, since the original Alien. But now with Alien Romulus, we find out that original alien did not die at the end of the first film. Somebody else picked him up, and he continued his, wreaking havoc. So that's the things I love about this film. And then of course you get the android from the original, right? The same model is there, and of course we can't trust this guy. So it's very interesting. Now there are flaws in this film, Alien Romulus. The characters that we are presented with have so much potential that's never fully tapped into. I think the best character is the android Andy, because he's the most complex character here. He's basically a piece of, company trash that's been, refurbished or something for our protagonist to have as a companion. She calls him her brother. It shows you how close they are, how, their relationship basically. But then there's the tragedy of they're going to go to this system 9 years. It's going to take them 9 years to get there, but that android isn't going to be allowed to stay there. So that's the sad part. And it's like they're going to abandon him. They're going to use him and abandon him. So that it's got that great element there. But our female protagonist, although she's great actress, she did a wonderful job. She's not Sigourney Weaver, and she's not Ellen Ripley. And I think that's the biggest flaw with the Alien films, the newer ones, is that what worked in the original quadrilogy was the Ellen Ripley story with encountering these aliens. Of course, you want to be able to evolve your franchise from that, but they haven't been able to successfully do so. There's always mixed reviews for these newer Alien films, and bringing Sigourney Weaver back for one last round with the alien, give us that war on Earth, would be such a wonderful film. Let's do this. Let's do this like Jamie Lee Curtis did when she came back for Halloween 2018. Let's do this, get it done. It's kind of like Heather Langenkamp of Nightmare on Elm Street was also expressed an interest in returning one day as Nancy to face off against Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger one last time. And she has gone on the record as saying that she believes that Robert Englund has enough energy and strength in him to play Freddy Krueger one more time. So you gotta, these horror movies with these legacy characters and actors are very important to people. And the thing about Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, can't replicate it. That's the thing about Freddy. They tried, with Jackie Earle Haley, Kelly from Bad News Bears, the originals, right? To be a Freddy Krueger variant in the remake. But it didn't quite work. And the sad part is we've had about, I want to say 21 years since the last time Robert Englund portrayed Freddy Krueger, and that would have been in Freddy vs. Jason in 2003. That movie was in development hell for about a decade, and they finally made it. And it was a good film. It really was. It's entertaining. It was the Freddy Krueger and the Jason of the early 2000s. It was, the movie we've been waiting for. Because up to that point, we hadn't gotten a new Nightmare on Elm Street since probably 94's New Nightmare. So about 9 years of no Freddy in theaters. And then Jason, well, we had Jason X, which I actually like. But then we got the matchup we wanted, and it was a good film. Good, nothing wrong with it. But we missed out on 21 years of more Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. Because, why? Well, remakes took over the horror genre in the 2000s, and we got a remake. And time just kept passing, and we haven't seen the return to those original roots of the franchises. I do want to give a special shout out, though, to Child's Play. Child's Play is a franchise that is 36 years old. How do I know that? Because the original Child's Play came out when I was born in 1988. So I'll always know, unless I get dementia, how old Child's Play is. But the beautiful thing about Child's Play is that it has maintained its original story throughout. Original characters, original actors throughout. We had Child's Play 2, and Child's Play 3, which were straight up horror films. And then we got Bride of Chucky, which changed the tone of it. It was more horror comedy. But it still worked. And it brought us Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany Valentine, which, in all honesty, I can't see Chucky without Tiffany anymore. And so, we got Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky. Then we got, I think it was Curse of Chucky next, and Cult of Chucky. And then, of course, the wonderful TV show, Chucky, which I will argue is one of the best shows on TV right now because it's so damn entertaining. They kept the original storyline going. They brought back Alex Vincent as Andy Barclay. They brought back Christine as Kyle. And, we've got the long history of the Child's Play series integrated with this new story with these three characters, Jake, his boyfriend Devin, and of course our girl Lexi, who are just trying to fight Chucky. And, he's got this new ability from the latest films where he can split his soul into different dolls. And, the story just keeps going. It keeps moving forward. So it's a great continuation, and I hope there's another season of it, because this last one was really good. The second season is probably the best one, but this last season with the White House and it was really good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The other film series that has stayed true to itself would be Scream. Scream 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we got Scream. They didn't want to call it Scream 5, but we all know it's Scream 5 because it's Scream 5, because following that is Scream 6. So the continuity is there for the Scream franchise as well, so special shout out to Scream. The difference, though, being that when Scream made a TV show, had nothing to do with the movies. When Child's Play made a TV show, it had everything to do with the movies. Of course, Child's Play did have a remake that came and went. Mark Hamill portrayed Chucky in that one and did a solid job. The kid that played Andy was really good, but it just wasn't Child's Play. Having a malfunctioned toy, basically an AI, go crazy is more like Skynet stuff, okay? Megan stuff. Like, that's not child's play. We need voodoo. We need Charles Lee Ray to transfer his soul into the doll. And that's what the remake lacked, was we don't have that voodoo aspect to it. It's not a serial killer. It's just a doll. And it's just a doll that's malfunctioned. Or sabotaged, right? If I'm remembering correctly. Not a bad film, but definitely not something we're going to see a sequel to. But I'm glad they kept it going with the TV series. They're like, forget the remake. We're moving on with our TV series. So that was always great. But I would give, going back to Alien Romulus, I would give it probably a 3.5 out of 5 because it does return us to its roots. There is potential for more sequels here, but what I really want to see is Sigourney Weaver take on the alien one last time. Just like I want to see Nancy Thompson take on Freddy Krueger one last time. And it's funny because we got to mention the, have you ever heard of the Razzie Awards that, you give to the bad films and the bad actors? I won't say Razzie, but I will say the kind of like almost the Great Value or Dollar General or Dollar Tree version of fan service was with Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because they tried to bring the character Sally back, not with the original actress. I mean, she was passable as, Sally, but it was just kind of like, let's imitate Halloween 2018 here with Sally with a gun, just like Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode had a gun in 2018. Didn't quite work, especially how they like easily dispatched her. Like they just like Sally, like you think she's gonna be this badass that comes in and takes care of business, and she does some damage, but she doesn't really do a lot. And she doesn't last very long in that battle, so it's kind of sad. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre as well. We'll delve into all these films. We'll go into analysis of different films and series and franchises. This is just kind of an overview of the kinds of things to expect from this video series, because I love horror. Horror loves me. It's been there for me since I was a little boy. And we'll talk about my personal journey through horror and just the genre and what I would like to see, and also I would like to invite people to come onto this and also share their thoughts of these films and these franchises and characters, because it's always great to have discussions. So for those of you who don't know, of course most people that know me know, I was an English teacher for 5 years, and I loved having discussions about literature, doing literary analysis, just the talk. I miss the talk. The biggest thing I miss about being a teacher is just having the conversation about the literature we just experienced with others. And so in this series, I hope to share with you all my thoughts on these different horror genres or horror films and franchises. But like I said, we'll also talk about television series. We'll also talk about different movies and video games and current events. Will we get political? Who knows? It's a presidential election season. I doubt I'd make anything very political, but will I share current thoughts? Sure. Do I know who I'm voting for in November? No idea. Absolutely no idea, because I don't know the candidates well enough and where they stand. I'm hoping for debates, and we'll see where we go, and we'll see where I land. I am a lifelong Democrat, but I'm open to change. I'm open to voting for whoever's best to serve our country. And that's the most political you'll get from me on this video. But just throwing it out there, who knows? We could have that discussion, or not. Probably not. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this rambling little series of videos, these little tidbits of information that I wanted to share. We will definitely go into more detail with different franchises and characters and stories and specific films and the events in them. It's almost September and it's almost Halloween, and so we got a Friday the 13th coming up in September, so do expect a Friday the 13th special video coming where we'll talk about the Friday the 13th series, and we will talk about the characters and the evolution of Jason Voorhees and what I always found interesting about those early films, and I'll save it for that video. But thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to this, to watch this, and know that I love you. God bless you. And as Elvira says all the time, unpleasant dreams. Take care, everyone.